Jordan's Soapbox is a series supported via Patreon. If you would like to help keep the Volcano Hotel running, consider supporting it for behind-the-scenes access and other dumb rewards. Furthermore, we have a Discord server where you can hang out with me, talk about things, vote on topics, and other things that we thought were good ideas, I guess. Link to all of this in the description. And now, enjoy the show. Hello, my gummy bears. My name is Jordan, also known as CJ, and welcome back to Jordan's Soapbox, the show that talks about anything that I want to talk about. Today I want to talk about something I showed all the way back in my first episode covering Archie Sonic. This panel of Tails getting slapped. Yeah, your eyes aren't deceiving you here. Tails is currently getting slapped by Fiona Fox. Scourge is laughing in the background, and Sonic is coming to his aid. It's a moment that, out of context, is hilarious, representative of the overdramatic and mind-numbing reality of these comics at times. Yet, despite that, it was also kind of an important and interesting moment in the history of Archie Sonic, an early sign that the unpopular choices that defined the comics in the 2000s would be washed away. Now, I've discussed it on the show before, but if you're new here, hi, please subscribe. The 2000s were not necessarily the kindest to the Blue Blur. Archie Sonic suffering a number of bad creative decisions, most notably breaking up Sonic and Sally as a couple, even though their dynamic was one of the core features of this comic, but okay. Yeah, look, I'm still very bitter about it, alright? Anyway. You know, though, what I didn't mention when it came to that creative choice? The little itty-bitty detail that I left out. Yeah, Sonic ended up hooking up with another girl after this. Fiona Fox. Oh boy, strap yourselves in, this is going to be a very bumpy ride. First, I think there is some very necessary context to discuss here. Fiona Fox was a character that debuted all the way back in Sonic the Hedgehog 27/28 as a robot duplicate who was activated to roboticize via romance Tails, but ultimately failed in their mission and left rusted on the island. So that was kind of a cute little two-part story, and actually gave Tails a unique spotlight, so I'm sure we're never gonna have this again, right? This character's never going to appear, right? Right? Oh boy. Yeah, the real Fiona ended up showing up later in the series, and long story short, following one of the worst stories of this comic, that I swear, one day, I'm going to get my hands on. And one day, I will rip it to freaking shreds on this show. After Evil Sonic impersonated Sonic, Fiona Fox thought, hey, maybe I should date Sonic. You know, I don't really need to tell you how stupid this is, but what makes it even worse is that they continue the fact that Tails still has feelings for her, and are shown in the comic. I have multiple problems with this. Tails still has feelings for her, and Sonic is dating them. It of course creates tensions between Sonic and Tails, with Tails being absolutely crushed and heartbroken over this, which continued for a long while. I've criticized this era of Archie Sonic as ruining the dynamic that Sonic and Sally shared, which was one of the most important dynamics of this comic, but it also managed to screw up one of the other important dynamics, Sonic and Tails, having unnecessary tension between the two brother-like characters over a romantic interest that just, I'm sorry, no one was likely asking for. I understand spicing things up every now and then to keep the comic interesting, but you know, that has to have some justification. This has very little to none of it. Fiona Fox would continue to appear both as a romantic interest to Sonic and as a freedom fighter, which neither was all that interesting, thus making the entire events that kind of transpired, worthless. But then the turning point, all of you should be way too familiar with this by now, came and decided to clean up this dumpster fire of a comic now. Ladies and gentlemen, the one, the only, Ian Flynn and company. Cue the angelic music. Fiona Fox started to be changed and actually have something interesting about them, with a shady background as a treasure hunter, and doubts were being sowed about her legitimacy as a freedom fighter. I mean, she didn't do anything useful anyway, so why not? It all came to a climax in Sonic 172, where it was revealed that Fiona Fox had been cheating on Sonic with Scourge the Hedgehog, or Evil Sonic. Because that actually makes a lot of sense. Fiona Fox was attracted to the version of Sonic from Moebius. Is that how you say Moebius? I think I got that wrong, but anyway. Point is that she was attracted to the evil version of Sonic when he was impersonating the real Sonic. And spoilers, evil Sonic is nothing like Sonic. Tails tries to convince her out of it, fails, and then the slap. But while that slap is supposed to be one of shock and horror, and it very much is, I mean, it's still freaking amusing to me, but anyway, it is one to me of new starts for both Fiona, Tails, and even Sonic to some extent. Fiona Fox became more interesting as a villain than a hero, as evidenced in stories like Hedgehog Havoc and Scourge Lockdown, and I really wish we could have seen more of her before the big continuity reboot, cause she was so much fun to see, and there was definitely hints at something very interesting going to be happening at the end of Lockdown. Tails would thankfully have their relationship with Sonic restored via the slow build-up and eventual release of House of Cards. After Tails beat the snot out of Sonic when his father tried usurping the Kingdom of Acorn, and, still being mad about the whole Fiona Fox thing. I mean, look, it's gonna be as realistic as it can be. If we were being realistic, Tails would have likely gone absolutely insane, killed Sonic, and took over the world. Why was that oddly specific? Sonic, meanwhile, had an explanation as to why he went out with Fiona Fox, to dilute the hurt from his breakup with Sally. And as someone who's been in a lot of relationships, I can tell you, yeah, that's pretty darn accurate. I mean, don't get me wrong, these are all still awful creative choices, but they're ones that would later be recontextualized into something better for the comic's future. So, yes, this slap was not just a slap, it's not just funny, it's also the beginning of a lot of great things. I think I'll conclude with one of my favorite moments that really helps sell that this was the right creative choice. During Journey to the East, Fiona Fox tries to manipulate Tails and his previous romantic attraction to her into seeing her way. It's sick and disgusting for longtime readers, considering the sheer hell Tails has been through with her. But as if this was comeuppance for Tails getting slapped in the face, Sally walks up to her and shoves her fist in her gut. Gosh freaking darn it, I love these comics. Anyway, that's it for this episode of Jordan's Soapbox. If you must excuse me, I gotta figure out why there's a ton of slapping in this comic. Hey, thanks so much for visiting the Jordania Volcano Hotel and Resort today. We hope you'll stop by again real soon. If you like this video, consider liking the video, or even better, subscribing and ringing the bell so you'll know when we call you back down here again. Follow us on social media too in order to keep up with us. Until we meet again, safe travels out there.